Et bonjour mes amis, et comment ça va? I want to welcome all of you to a series of French-speaking lessons that will be held here at the Allen Parish Library, and I want to thank Miss Agnes Guillory and her staff for creating this program and inviting me here to begin it. My name is Christopher Thomas. I'm from the Swallow area, which is about 7 miles from here. Most of you know me, my family, you know my mother and father, and my brothers and sisters. And I want to thank all of them for, as I was growing up, to help teach me how to speak French. And I guess one of the biggest things we did while we were creating this idea, we started to think about how much the language is dying in Southwest Louisiana and around the area. And there is still a desire for a lot of young people to want to learn how to speak the language. And unfortunately, what we had years ago, it's not happening now, where we had conversations everywhere. We had them in stores, we had them in the post office, we had them in churches, everybody congregating together and speaking French and laughing and having a good time. But now, of course, everyone has gone away from the language and we're speaking just like I'm speaking now. So that's how all the idea began. And so today we're going to start with a few lessons and we're going to progress up towards the next several weeks. Now the way we're going to do this is we're going to go into words, a few phrases, and we're going to try to make this as simple as possible. A lot of you that will be viewing these lessons will already know some of the pronunciations, but keep in mind this. When we speak the language, keep in mind that people from this area will go to another area, say Ville Platte or other areas of Louisiana or other places in different parts of the country, and we will understand one another, but we will speak the language different. So keep those things in mind. So the words that I'm going to try to teach and some of the phrases that are going to be taught here in the library are words that we speak and what we're familiar with hearing. So today's lesson, we're going to start with parts of the body, and then we're going to learn things like, as we go, numbers, how to tell time, seasons of the year, clothing articles, house, things of the house, family, names of animals. I mean, you name it, we're going to try to go through it. And certainly if some of you viewers have any comments and maybe things to add that will help that much more, please feel free to comment. Okay, so we're going to get started and we're going to talk about today about parts of the body. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix the explanations both in English and French. I'm going to pronounce, and I'm going to try to pronounce these words slow and be repetitive so that you can kind of catch up and know what's going on. Okay, so we're going to go from top to bottom, and we're going to start with hair. With hair. We pronounce hair in French, cheveux, 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 hair, hair. Okay, then we're going to go to the head. And a lot of people like to talk about when you hear people say grosse tete, which means big head, but for the sake of, we're going to go tete, tete, head, your head, tete, tete. Okay, for ears, you can have one ear or a pair. So for one ear, it's oreille, oreille. And for both ears, it's, or pair of ears, is oreille, oreille. So you go from oreille to a pair, oreille. Okay, so we're going to go eye. Remember, parts of the body, some comes in pairs, okay? So we're going to talk about eyes, which come in pairs. So an eye, one eye, is called oeil, an oeil. One eye, oeil. A pair is called zyeu, zyeu. So one eye is oeil, and then a pair is zyeu, both eyes. Okay, nose. And a lot of people, you never hear in French in conversation about the nostrils of the nose. But the nose is nez. 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 And then the nostrils are called narines. Your narines. And then also as we go through this, I'm going to tell you about the left and the right, because also you want to go left arm, right arm, and those kinds of things. Okay. So now the mouth. Now you'll hear the mouth pronounced in several ways. Here we're going to say bouch. 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 Lips is lèvre. Tes lèvres. Of course, the lips, you wouldn't really say a lip, or you would say lips, your lips. Or there's another pronunciation you've heard, it's called babins. Babin. Your lèvre, or your babin. Teeth. One of the unique things also about the French-speaking language is you can say the singular or plural, but in one word. So one meaning means singular and plural, okay? So when we talk about teeth, we go dents, dents. So when we say your total teeth, tes dents, or one tooth and dent. So it both means the same thing, teeth, dents. Your tongue is long, long, long. Your tongue, long. Not long, but long, long. Your face, and what's unique about your face is spelled just like a figure. So your face is figure, figure, which is similarly spelled to figure, F-I-G-U-R-E, but figure. Next is your neck. Your neck is called coude. 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 Now your shoulders is called one epaule. Epaule. And both are zepaule. Tes zepaule and epaule. Tes épaules, plural, zepaule. Your back is called dos. Now you've heard a lot of people say, mon dos fait mal. My back hurts. Mon dos fait mal. Or baisse ton dos, lower your back. Baisse ton dos, lower your back. Dos. Your rear end is called derriere, or your derriere. You've heard people say derriere, or your derriere, your rear end, derriere. And of course, there are other ways to say it, which we won't go into today, but there is derriere, derriere. Leg is called jambe. And you've heard a lot of people, especially that's arthritic, that say mon jambe fait mal. Mon jambe fait mal. Arm is bras. Bras. So, mon bras fait mal, arm, or mes bras. Mon bras, M-O-N, or mes bras, M-I-S. Mes bras fait mal. Bras, my arm. Hand is main. Mon main fait mal, one, M-O-N, mon main. Or mes mains fait mal, both, M-I-S, mes mains fait mal. Main, hand. Then we'll go fingers, okay? Fingers, mes doigts. Mes doigts fait mal, or mon doigt, and mon doigt fait mal. And specifically, a finger, as opposed to all my fingers. Mes doigts fait mal. Mes doigts. Then we'll go fingernail, like when you cut your fingernail. Fingernail is ongle. Ongle. Couper mon ongle. Cut my nail. Fingernail. Or zong. All your nails. When you have to cut them. Zong is all plural. Ongle is singular. Then elbow. Elbow is coude. Coude. Elbow. Coude. And as I said earlier, we'll go into pronouncing like the right coude, which is coude droit or droit, and the left is gauche, or coude gauche. Okay. Knee, the knee is called genou, especially those with arthritis. Mes genoux fait mal, or mon genou fait mal. Mon, M-O-N, on mes genoux. Mes genoux fait mal. Ankle. Now, we can pronounce it and we can say it a bunch of ways, but ankle of the foot would be cheville des pieds, or you just go cheville. Mon cheville fait mal. My ankle. Cheville. Cheville. Toe is orteille. Orteille. One. Orteille. Mon orteille fait mal, or mes orteilles fait mal. Mes orteilles. Mes orteilles. And toenail is pronounced similar to the fingernail, and ongle or zong. The difference is, when you talk about the nails of the hand, is mon ongle de mon dois, and then the toe would be mon ongle de mon orteille. Mon ongle de mon orteille. Or mes ongles de mes orteils. So there's a singular and there's a plural. Singular and plural. Ongle and zong. Now, as I was talking about with directions, like your left hand or your right hand, or your left leg, right leg, however you want to call it. So left is gauche, gauche. So when you want to say my left hand, mon main gauche, or mon main droite, or droite, droite. So droite et gauche, right and left. So when you talk about your body parts and there's pain, or you want to direct to which area, right or left, again, left is gauche, so everything to the left side is gauche. Jambe, pied, main, gauche. On the right side, droit. Mon main droite or droite. Mon jambe droite. So it's right. Right side. So there you have it in a simple kind of way, simple parts of the body. And the stomach, I had forgot to add the stomach, of course, which is stomac. Mon stomac. And you hear that term a lot around the area when they talk about a stomach ache, or your kids, when they eat a lot of candy and those kinds of things. My stomach hurts. So you would say, mon stomac fait mal. Mon stomac fait mal. My stomach hurts. Mon stomac fait mal. So again, simple. If you have any comments, viewers, please comment. We're going to have guests as we go along. We're going to have more lessons. We're going to have more pronunciations. We're going to talk about some things. As we get into maybe the first several weeks, we'll start to put phrases together. We'll talk more about the summer, the grass cutting, things outside, people, families, and hopefully by the end of these lessons, we'll get people to understand at least how to speak a little bit of the language, and especially when they're around people, they'll understand when they hear it. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.